Hello there, welcome back to this series of Say No to Grammatical Errors, and this is part 2. In the last video, we started discussing common grammatical errors that we do while writing, and I have explained you the subject-verb agreement errors with tips to avoid them and the errors we commit with tenses. Now, let me give you some tips on how to avoid tense errors and write clear and concise sentences. So quickly grab your pen and notebook and note on the tips along with the examples. The first tip is keep the same tense if everything happens in the same time frame. Remember, this term time frame is very important when you are writing in English. Okay? So according to this rule, if everything you want to express occurs during the same time, you should keep your writing in that tense. Like, if you are telling about an event that happened in the past, keep your writing in past tense. For example, in the sentence, on my 18th birthday, my parents invite all of my friends. The tense of the verb invite is wrong. It was an event that happened in past, so the verb should be in its past tense. Therefore, the sentence should be my parents invited all my best friends. Alright? Now, the next step is change the tense to show a change in time from one event to another event. Yes, although you aren't supposed to change the tenses in the same piece of writing according to rule number 1, sometimes you will need to change the tense of your writing to explain an idea that involves different time frames. Let's understand this through an example. Last year, I ran in the marathon for the first time. Now I often run in marathons for social cause. The change in tense is correct because the adverb now is used in the present tense, which indicates that the action is still happening. The sentence could be referring to the present day, or it could be referring to a period of time that began in the past and is still continuing. Okay? So, it allows the writer to express two ideas that takes place in different time frames. Here, the writer expresses a past event, ran in the marathon for the first time, and a current or regular event that happens in present, like often run in marathons. Clear? Now, another tip to avoid tense errors is use signal words to show the change when changing tenses. As you learned earlier, sometimes you need to change the tense of your writing to explain ideas that occur in different time frames. When you do this, use signal words that tell the reader that you are changing the time frame. Let's take the same sentence from the last example. Last year, I ran in the marathon for the first time. Now I often run in marathons for social cause. Observe, here the writer uses the phrase last year to tell about something that happened in the past. In the next sentence, the writer uses the word now to express something that happens in present. Got it? Let me help you with some common signal words for each tense. Quickly take a screenshot or note them down. Okay? Let's start with present tenses. The signal words to use with present tenses are, for simple present tense, you should use always, usually, often, sometimes, seldom, never, every, now, at present, currently, presently. For present continuous, is or is, am, are, be, now, at the moment, look, listen. Present perfect has or have, ever, just, never, already, so far, up to now, for, since. Present perfect continuous has or have been, for, since, all day, the whole week, for a long time. Alright? Now, note down the signal words for past tenses. For past simple tense, use yesterday, last week, ago, in 1990 or any past year, the other day, once, twice, 3 times. Past continuous was or were, while, as long as, when. Past perfect had, already, before, just, never, once, until that day. Past perfect continuous had been, for, since, the whole day, all day. Now signal words for future tenses are, for simple future tense, use will, next week, tomorrow, in 1 year from now on. Future continuous will be in 1 year, next week, tomorrow, from now on. Future perfect will have by Monday or any specific day, in 1 week, in 5 years. For future perfect continuous will have been, for, since, the whole week, all day. Now there is one very important thing to take care of while using signal words. It is important to note that not all signal words are exclusive to a single tense. For example, the word now can be used in the present simple, present continuous, or present perfect tense. The only thing that matters is the meaning of the sentence should depend on the context. Got it? So kids, I hope these tips will help you overcome the tense-mare. Now, let's discuss the third common error we make while writing in English, the pronoun antecedent agreement. This is when the pronoun doesn't agree with its antecedent in terms of number and gender. For example, see the sentence, everyone brought their own lunch. Do you remember the indefinite pronouns? According to indefinite pronouns, everyone is singular. So it should be followed by a singular pronoun. Therefore, this sentence is wrong and it should be everyone brought his or her own lunch. Now, this thing seems very simple, very minor, right? But trust me, these makes blunders. So, let's see how not to make errors in this regard. Tip number 1. Keep track of number and gender of your antecedents. Okay, the pronouns must agree with their antecedents in number and gender. For example, if the antecedent is singular, the pronoun must be singular. And if the antecedent is masculine, the pronoun must also be masculine. Okay? See this example. Someone would go to the market because they need the things urgently. Again, someone is indefinite pronoun, the singular, so there should not be any plural pronoun, right? So the correct sentence will be someone would go to the market because he or she needs the things urgently. Clear? Now, tip number 2. Use the same pronoun throughout a sentence or paragraph because this will help you avoid accidentally using the wrong pronoun. This means that if you start a sentence by referring to someone as he, you should continue to refer that person as he throughout the sentence. Again, it seems very petty issue, But students often do these mistakes. Correct? Now, tip number 3. Use demonstrative pronoun, that is this, that, these, those, instead of personal pronoun whenever you can. Demonstrative pronouns are less likely to cause agreement errors because they are more specific. For example, instead of saying the dog ran away and it was never seen again, you could say the dog ran away and that was never seen again. Okay, so do not be gender specific, either use demonstrative pronouns here. The next tip is rephrase your sentences to avoid using pronouns altogether. This is in fact the best way to ensure that your pronouns agree with their antecedents. For example, instead of saying the student studied hard and he passed the test, you could say the student studied hard and passed the test, because in this word student, it's not specified, the gender of the students is not specified, right? So it is always safe to use or to refrain using the pronouns here. Alright then, I hope you understood the grammatical errors which we already discussed, and now you know how to prevent those. In case of any doubt, replay the videos and go through your notes and continue watching part 3 of grammatical errors in the following video. Be right back.